Hello, entrepreneurs. I'm Kevin, and boy, do I have another great one for you today. And also, at the very end of this video, I'm going to share with you a new online book club for entrepreneurs that I'm exploring. So if that sounds at all interesting to you, then definitely wait until the end to check that out. Okay, so for today's book, I'm going to cover Atomic Habits by James Clear. Another golden one, in my opinion. As you can imagine, it's about how to build good habits. Because even if we're super gung-ho and have all the willpower in the world, that will not take us all the way to where we want to and need to go. In fact, we need proven processes to build habits sustainably and effectively. And as the book teaches, even tiny 1% changes can do great things when it accumulates over time. You just need to keep it up and don't quit. There's a really interesting story that he tells pretty early on in the book about the British cycling team, how they were pretty much jokes of their racing circuit. But a new coach came in and revolutionized things and made tiny 1% improvements everywhere to his team's diets, made their cushion a tiny bit more comfortable, their shorts a little bit more breathable, a little bit more calf exercises to make that stronger. And all of that collectively, all those tiny changes was what it took for them to go from being jokes to dominating, to winning first place overall in their entire world competition. So in this book, he covers the 4 main laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. I'm not going to dive into each of these in this short book review. This is only a teaser for you, but he gives a lot of examples and discussion surrounding each one. So without further ado, here are my top 3 tips that I took away from this book, and hopefully you get something out of it. Tip number 1, when wanting to build a new habit, be super specific. The formula that he suggests is I will do X action at Y time in Z location. For example, I will meditate for 10 minutes at 11 a.m. every day in my cubicle at work. Doing this type of formula is much better than the usual wishy-washy plans that we make. Like, oh, I'm going to do more jumping jacks, or oh, I'm going to meditate more, right? As you can imagine, we say we have these plans, but we're like, okay, well, I forgot to do that today. And other things may get in the way if we're not super specific. Another adjacent tip to this is the concept of habit stacking. You take your normal routines and slot something in after a certain step. So that is something, for example, like every day you brush your teeth, you go in the kitchen, and you start a cup of coffee. And maybe while you wait for that coffee, you're going to do 10 jumping jacks to get your heart pumping for the day. That's how you slot a habit in and stack it. Makes it much easier, much more clear what to do and when. So how he recommends you do that is you create a habit map of all the routines you do already, and then you can see where to slot stuff in so it makes the most sense. But of course, he says don't do too much at once though. Keep it simple. Start with just one habit that you want to stack. Once that becomes comfortable, you can move to other ones. Tip number 2 is to make it easy for habits you want to build and make it hard for habits you want to break, right? And this means that you want to reduce as much friction as possible for yourself when you want to build new habits. Like, for example, if you want to exercise more and go to the gym, go to one that's close to on your drive home, rather than make yourself go a few blocks out of your normal route to hit the gym, because that adds more friction and just gives you more excuses why to break that. Another example is to put a book next to your bed if you're trying to build the habit of reading every day and you want to stack it when you get on your bed. Some more examples is if you're trying to break your unnecessary spending habits, maybe you can make it difficult for yourself by not taking your credit card with you when you go to the mall. Only take a specific number of dollars or cash. That way it makes it way harder for you to overspend, as you can imagine. Or if you're a smoker, you may hide your lighter in the depths of your car trunk instead of making it super accessible like in your pocket. These examples should make it pretty obvious to you what he means by make it easy. And you can use this one to design your surrounding environments to make certain things easier and certain things harder as you think about which habits you want to take. And finally, number 3 is to think in terms of aspirational identity rather than goals. And goals are something like, I want to lose 20 pounds. But the problem with that is that if you don't hit that quickly, you may get discouraged, even though it takes a lot of sustained effort and results may come quickly near the end after you build up a solid foundation of doing it often and not giving up. Or you may hit that goal and then you're like, now what? Now that's over, I hit that goal. then you may slip because it was a one-time binary goal. Rather, what he suggests is that you can take on the identity of I'm a healthy person. So all the tiny actions you take in your day-to-day life would point towards that identity. For example, one thing that a healthy person would do is that at the cafeteria, instead of picking soda, you'll pick water instead. Some more examples of this principle: if someone offers you a cigarette, you can say, I'm not a smoker, rather than I'm trying to quit smoking. I'm not a smoker is that is your identity. And if you accept that deep down, it'll make it much easier to break a habit, or on the flip side, to take a new habit. And finally, one last one is like a career example is I want to be a formidable salesperson. If that's the case, in your day-to-day life or work, you can always ask yourself, what would a formidable salesperson do in this situation? And try to do that. That's how identity helps you, rather than just one defined goal, if that kind of makes sense. Okay, that's it for this book. As you can see, I really enjoyed this book, and you should read this one pretty early in your life and entrepreneurial journeys, in my opinion. This book and another one I covered on this channel, Organize Tomorrow Today, are great habit formation books that I both recommend. Next up, I'll be reviewing a company strategy or finding product market fit book. So if you like to learn more about that topic or catch future ones, definitely follow along by liking and subscribing on this video. Also, finally, this book club I'm talking to you about earlier, it's called Learning Club. It's an online book club tailor-made for entrepreneurs. If you really want to learn the concepts behind books rather than just reading these once through and forgetting most of it later, then check out my book club. I'm going to leave a link down below. You can join a community of other entrepreneurs that will keep you accountable. We can discuss together, give each other feedback on our ideas, and move at a structured pace to ensure that we never stop learning. So as always, I'd love to hear what you think down below. Check it out, and I'll see you guys next time.